In non-playoff action, number 15 Coyle-Cassidy is visiting number 14 Wareham. This is a winless team versus a one-win team happening Friday at 7. So
Yeah, last week was a tough week for Wareham. In the previous two games, the Vikings had stayed, with Fairhaven and Old Rochester, close battles, and then last week against Apponequet, the Vikings just really had no answer for the Lakers, which a lot of teams this year
right.
haven't really had an answer. So it's hard to really gauge, the way that Wareham played in that game. But that their one touchdown ended up coming on a Nate Moore kickoff return for a score. Midway through the second half, or not second half, third quarter, and it just before the game, Dan Nault, who you know really well, came up. We were talking a little bit, and he said, we just the goal for this game is to come away healthy. And as far as I could tell, none of their players were injured in the game. Nobody was carted off the field. So going into this matchup against Coyle, it looks like Wareham will have, its full lineup. So Wareham is hopefully trying to get back on track after that loss to Apponequet last week. And, they seemed solid when they had the ball, but they didn't have the ball too often because Apponequet's offense, just really controlled the game. And they gave up some big plays. And in their 6 losses this year, Wareham has been outscored by an average of 21.7 points per game. So defense, has struggled for the Vikings this year. And they're facing a Coyle-Cassidy team that's winless on the season. And the Warriors have struggled as well. Their highest output came in a loss to EAC champion Somerset Berkeley, 47-22. So that's the most points they've scored this season. It's the 22 points in that game. And they've been outscored a combined 205-88 in their 7 losses. So they've struggled as well. And they've had trouble putting points on the board. They've scored less than 14 points 5 times this season. So it's going to be kind of a back and forth battle between two struggling programs, but I think Wareham definitely has the advantage. The Vikings are home, and even in some of their losses, like to Fairhaven and to Old Rochester a few weeks ago, the Vikings, have looked good, at times, and it's just a matter of, their defense has struggled with giving up kind of like the home run type of plays. But their offense has been able to put points on the board besides the loss to Apponequet last week. So, the Vikings will look to maybe, be able to starting a winning streak in this new, new schedule that they have going on.
Yeah, so it'll be happening Friday at 7 at Wareham. You can follow along with all the action on Twitter at SC_varsity and talk about the game using the hashtag SCVfootball.